Hey, what's good, y'all? We back with another video, man. And today I will be ranking the top 10 finishing moves of all time. Now, this list is mostly my personal favorite list of wrestling moves. And, most of the moves that I have on this list are done by some of the all-time greatest wrestlers. And hell, you might even see some of your favorite wrestlers finishing moves on this list as well. But I'm not going to keep y'all waiting no further, man. Let's get right into the video. Now, starting off with number 10 in this list, I have the super kick. Now, the super kick is one of the all-time moves in wrestling. It has been around for a long time. And, this move has been most famously used by Shawn Michaels. The Sweet Chin Music, And, this was really a devastating move back in the day, in the past, when he was using it as his finisher. But, ever since Shawn Michaels retired, it really feels like the super kick has been so watered down. And this is the reason why I have this as number 10 on my list. The super kick, in my opinion, has been very, very just washed, because there are so many people using it in wrestling today. I mean, you got the Young Bucks using it, aka the Super Kick Party, and just so many guys in wrestling use this variation, use this move in their arsenal. Me personally, my all-time favorite version or variation of this move is none other than the Sweet Chin Music. I mean, you can hit it out of nowhere. And especially the way that Shawn Michaels used to go for the pin right after he hit the super kick. I used to love it. So super kick is in my list as the number 10 finisher. Let's move on, man. Go ahead and move on to number 9. Number 9, which is the crossface. Now, the crossface is very interesting because I'm a big fan of the crossface, I like a good submission finisher. There have been so many great submission finishers in wrestling history. My favorite, though, I have to give it to the crossface. This move has been used by some of the greatest of all time, literally. The variations of this move, you see it in the screen right here as Bryan Danielson is locking in the LeBell Lock on Kenny Omega. The LeBell Lock, or this move was also famously used by Chris Benoit, aka the Crippler Crossface. Now, we don't talk about Chris Benoit like that for obvious reasons. But I can't ignore the fact that I was a huge fan of the crossface, And Bryan Danielson and Benoit, those are the two guys I think about when I think of the crossface, They made that move famous. At first it was Benoit, but, a couple of years later down the road came the LeBell Lock by Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan. So crossface is number 9 on this list, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the only submission finisher on this list. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I only had this as my submission finisher on this list. But yeah, man, it's just something about a good crossface being locked in, and it looks realistic as hell. A lot of these moves that I have on my list has a lot to do with how good they look on camera. How real do they look when you hit these moves? Because obviously, come on now, professional wrestling is scripted, it's fake. But how real does these moves look on television? Let's go back to number 10, the super kick. It's a fucking kick. A super kick looks real as hell on television because you're literally kicking somebody in the skull. The crossface, you're wrenching their head back, trying to snap their fucking neck. Also, at the same time, you're wrenching their arm back as well. That looks very, very realistic on camera. And as a fan watching, I've always liked when Benoit or Bryan Danielson lock the crossface. It just looks painful as hell. So this is why it's on my list. Moving on to number 8 though, I have the Swanton Bomb. Now, this is the only high flying move I have on my list. Now, oh God, it was very, very hard to pick a high flying move. At first, I didn't have a high flying move on this list, but I had to make some changes. I had to do some edits, and I added the Swanton Bomb. Now, there's only one guy who made this move famous, and that's Jeff fucking Hardy, man. Jeff Hardy made the Swanton Bomb famous. This is why I have that there are no variations of this move, because when you really think about it, Jeff Hardy made this move famous, and nobody really used the Swanton Bomb as their finisher like that. You know, I think Wardlow in AEW used the Swanton Bomb for a little bit, but it really wasn't his main finisher. You know, Jeff Hardy made the fucking Swanton Bomb. And I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan. Jeff Hardy is invited to all the cookouts and everything. The Swanton Bomb, it's just when you think of the Swanton Bomb, you think of Jeff Hardy performing the Swanton Bomb off the fucking stage, off a 20-foot ladder, through a table. Nowadays, you know, Jeff Hardy, he doesn't really do the Swanton Bomb like that. He does still, you know, occasionally pulls it out, but, you know, he's getting old, man. He's been around for a long ass time. But, you know, the Swanton Bomb will never get old. And honestly, when Jeff Hardy eventually retires, man, I don't think the Swanton Bomb would get, like, I don't think nobody would perform that Swanton Bomb as just beautifully as Jeff fucking Hardy, man. Like, he has hit the Swanton Bomb of some of the most craziest shit of all time. And the fact that Jeff Hardy is still moving around, still alive to this day, off of doing some of the shit he used to do back in the day, is crazy, crazy, crazy work. But yeah, man, Swanton Bomb is number 8 on my list. We're going to move on. Number 7. The Muscle Buster. Now, some of you probably wasn't really expecting the Muscle Buster on my list at number 7. But I've always been a fan of the Muscle Buster, man. When Samoa Joe used to hit this move back in TNA, man, I thought that the Muscle Buster was one of the most devastating moves of all time, man. And it still is, bro. I mean, this move literally took Tyson Kidd's career. He almost killed Tyson Kidd with the Muscle Buster. Now, I know it was an accident, you know, freak injuries happen. But and I think the Muscle Buster was banned for a little while after he hit it, after he injured Tyson Kidd as well. I think it was banned for a little while in WWE. But the Muscle Buster is still one of my all-time favorite moves, man. The way he hits the Muscle Buster, God, it looks so devastating, man. It just looks like it can fucking kill you. Other variations of this move is the Kaneki Buster, which that is a sit-out version of the Muscle Buster. Now, that will fuck you up, man. That will fuck your spine up. That will make your spine not move for 5 years. You know, that right there will probably do some serious damage, because it's not like a regular Muscle Buster where Samoa Joe just lays on his back, falls right down on his back, you know. The Kaneki Buster is where the guy who's performing the Muscle Buster type of move is sitting out. So the guy who is receiving the Muscle Buster, or aka the Kaneki Buster, is landing on their neck on the other guy's shoulder, which is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. So, you know, I'm more of a fan of the Muscle Buster because it still looks devastating, but at the same time, it's safe. Now, like I said, the whole Tyson Kidd situation that happened one time, freak accident. But for the majority part of the time, you know, other than that one incident between Samoa Joe and Tyson Kidd, this move, I'm pretty sure it didn't really injure many people, but it still looked devastating as hell, man. But yeah, man, Samoa Joe made this move famous as well, just like Jeff Hardy and the Swanton Bomb. Like, when you think of the Muscle Buster, you think of Samoa Joe. I mean, not many guys, especially in the USA. I know some guys did it over, in Japan, but not many guys did the Muscle Buster in the United States. Moving on to number 6. Number 6 is the Styles Clash. We're moving on from Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster to AJ Styles' Style Clash. This is what are we, 2016, eh? But yeah, man, the Styles Clash is number 6 on my list. It's not really much you can say about this move, man. In my opinion, the Styles Clash is one of the most prettiest professional wrestling moves ever. AJ Styles is the founder of the Styles Clash. When you think of the Styles Clash, you don't think of nobody else but AJ Styles. I mean, it's literally in his name, the Styles Clash. I don't think this move injured many people. I know it took out I forgot his name, Japanese dude. I know it took out somebody in Japan when AJ Styles was having a match. I forgot who it took out specifically. God, I wish I could pinpoint on who it was, but this move injured like one person, and I think it broke their fucking neck. But other than that, like, this move is pretty safe as hell, and it's one of the best looking moves in professional wrestling. I mean, and also done by one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world, AJ Styles. But the Styles Clash, I mean, it got to be on my list, man. It's got to be on my motherfucking list. It's so unique because it's so different from any other wrestling move. And the fact that AJ Styles has been pulling this move off for like 15, almost 20 years is crazy. It's crazy as hell to me, man. But yeah, man, the Styles Clash, in my opinion, one of the greatest moves of all time. It will go down as one of the most iconic moves of all time. I used to love when he used to hit this back in TNA, man. I used to love when AJ Styles used to hit this and how he used to reverse, a move into the Styles Clash. Wow. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say about the Styles Clash, man. I'm a big fan of the Styles Clash. And yeah, man, we're going to move on to number 5, man. Number 5 in this list is the F5, man. This move was made famously by none other than Brock Lesnar, man. Brock Lesnar debuted the F5 in WWE. This move at the time was one of the most devastating moves of all time. I'm more of a fan of the F5 than the FU, aka the Attitude Adjustment, done by John Cena, which is not even on this list. Spoiler alert, but yeah, I'm more of a fan of the F5, which came before, technically, I believe this move came before the Attitude Adjustment or the FU. But the F5 is one of the most coolest moves in wrestling. I mean, he literally just spins a guy in the air and dropping them down on their fucking face, man. Like, the F5 is just, when you think of the F5, you think of Brock Lesnar, man. All you got to do, put them on your shoulders, spin them, boom, drop them down. Other variations of this move, nobody really have used this move like that, but Kevin Owens, aka Kevin Steen, back in RH, did use this move. He called it the F Sync, but it wasn't his main finisher. But he did used to use this. He did used to perform this move in RH. But the real owner, it's Brock Lesnar, man. When the hell are we even going to see Brock Lesnar back in the WWE? I don't know. Is he even coming back? Because it's been a while since I seen Brock Lesnar hit the F5. Man, I want to see him back. I know he had the allegations and all that shit with Vince, and I don't know. Hopefully we get Brock Lesnar back in action. If not, it is what it is, bro. But the F5 is number 5 on my list. It's one of my favorite finishers of all fucking time. And I mean, can't get much better than the fucking F5. But Mike can. As number 4 is the power bomb. Now, so many variations of the power bomb. The power bomb is one of the most famous moves in wrestling. I mean, it's one of the most basic moves in wrestling. But I mean, very effective. Very, very effective. In my opinion, the power bomb is like one of the most realistic moves because you're literally slamming this guy from your shoulders onto the back of their neck on that hard ass mat, man. Not much, like it's a lot of you're up at least 6 feet in the air and you're going back down on that hard ass mat, very thin padding, like very little protection at all. That's why I love a good ass power bomb, and I think power bombs should be used more in professional wrestling. I know Wardlow used to use the powerbomb Symphony. I don't know why the fuck he stopped that, bro. Don't know why Wardlow stopped the powerbomb Symphony. But other variations of the powerbomb, this move was really mostly was made famous first by Kevin Nash, aka Diesel. The jackknife powerbomb, like every powerbomb is different, you know. Every variation is different for the most part. I know Kevin Nash used to just drop him down. He don't sit out with it at all. He just drops him right down. The Batista bomb, Batista actually sits out with the power bomb. That is like his move that he's most famous for. I'm more of a fan of the jackknife powerbomb more so than the sit-out powerbomb. But Batista used to hit that motherfucker like it was nothing, man. Like the Batista bomb wasn't as bad, but I'm more so of a just dropping him right down straight 6 feet in the sky, you know. But it's, I mean, really, if you really think about it, it's essentially the same move because they're all, I mean, either way you're going to get dropped on that mat. But I just think it's just more effective. You just throwing them down there how like Diesel used to do back in the day. We also got Kevin Owens pop-up powerbomb. I like that powerbomb. It was decent. But the fact that he always had to just run them off the ropes, I didn't really like that because it felt unrealistic. It is what it is, though. Then you have the last ride made famous by The Undertaker. Now, I said the jackknife powerbomb by Diesel was probably my favorite variation of the powerbomb. But man, I'm thinking to myself right now in my head, that last ride by Undertaker, man. It wasn't just any regular powerbomb. No. This man Taker literally will have you 7 feet in the air and put you an extra 2 feet in the air as he raises you up and drops your ass down on that mat. Honestly, I think the last ride has to be my favorite variation of the powerbomb because it just looked devastating. Like it's like it really looked like it killed folks, man. Honestly, like, and I know at some point Taker, and I believe it was during the American Badass phase, during that gimmick where he was using the last ride as his actual finisher. He wasn't really using the tombstone like that. He was using the last ride as his finisher, man. I really do fuck with the last ride, but yeah, man, the power bomb is number 4 on my top 10 finishing moves of all time list. Moving on to number 3, man. Almost finished with this list. The spear. Now, we're getting juicy here. The spear has been used by fucking everyone, man. Everyone, damn near everybody uses spear. The most notable variations of the spear that you see, Goldberg spear, which was devastating. Oh my god, bro. Goldberg, and I heard Goldberg was like one of the most unsafe wrestlers back during his day. But fuck, man, that when I used to see Goldberg hit that spear, I used to think like he was killing folks. It literally looked like he was spearing people in half. I know Goldberg used to play football and shit, but god damn, man, it's just I know that spear he hit on Jericho through the plexiglass and elimination chamber match, that was fucking crazy as hell. That spear he hit on Christian, I believe, inside of that steel cage, crazy as hell. I mean, so many more spears that Goldberg used to hit that just look like, bro, is this guy okay? Like, do we have to call the ambulance? Because he's not getting up off this mat. But moving on, we got Edge's spear. The Rated R Superstar Edge. And I'm going to just keep this real as hell. I'm being so honest here. I really wasn't a fan of Edge's spear. It was just so light, so babyish, and just I just wasn't a fan of how he used to hit that spear, man. I think Edge has one of the worst spears of all time. And then listen, I might get some backlash on that. I might get backlash, but it really didn't look like it really hurt people, man. It's like he was hugging them and then driving them down on the mat. Like, it was nothing like fucking Goldberg's spear, where he was killing folks literally. And I know you gotta protect, your fellow workers at all times, but shit, I want a little contact, Like Edge, sometimes his spear will look better than others, but for the most part, it was just so fucking light, and I really didn't like it. I don't have Roman Reigns' spear in the variation list. I don't know how the fuck I forgot Roman Reigns' spear. I really don't. But he is the main picture in the video, as you can see him performing the spear on AJ Styles, and I believe this specific spear was when he caught AJ Styles in midair, when AJ Styles was going for the Phenomenal Forearm, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, Roman Reigns' spear is it. When I'm thinking to myself, who has the best spear? Me personally, it's very tough because you got Goldberg's spear, which was devastating as hell, and then you got Roman Reigns'. Spear. But let's not forget the gore. Rhino's gore was devastating as well. Like Rhino's gore, I was a real big fan of the gore. Rhino used to hit that shit like it was nothing, man. Rhino's gore was better than Edge's spear. That says a lot. And Edge is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He will go down as a first ballot Hall of Famer if he's not already a Hall of Famer. I don't think Edge is he inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? Is he? I really don't know. I'm actually about to look this up, though. I'm gonna look this up. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I just looked it up. Yes, Edge is in the Hall of Fame. But, I mean, God, his spear was one of the all-time worst. And I hate to say that. I really do. But back to Rhino's gore, man. Rhino's gore was very underrated. Like, when you talk about spears, not many people talk about Rhino's gore. Man. I think Rhino's gore, in my opinion, is right there with Reigns' spear. But it's very tough. If I were to rank these spears, Goldberg's spear, Rhino's spear, Reigns' spear, obviously Edge's spear is last. I would probably say Goldberg's spear first, and then I'm gonna go Reigns' spear, and then I'm gonna go Gore. But Gore is right there, right there with Reigns' spear, man. Because Rhino was he used to fucking hit that bitch like it was, he used to literally fold people in half with that Gore, man. And I love the name Gore. Like every time he hit the Gore, You got Don West screaming gore, gore, gore. I fucking love it. But moving on, man. Moving on. Enough talk about spears. Moving on to the number 2 finishing move on this list. The RKO. Now, the RKO is pretty self-explanatory. Not much I have to say, but you can hit the RKO literally out of nowhere. I mean, it's one of the most like visual like just basing this off visuals alone, one of the most best looking finishers of all time. You can hit the RKO, you can catch people with the RKO, just like the super kick. You know, I forgot to mention that with the super kick. The super kick, you can super kick guys out of midair, shit like that. Like how Shawn Michaels did that super kick on Shelton Benjamin. Midair, caught him midair, mid springboard, was one of the best super kicks of all time. The RKO, when Orton hit the RKO on Evan Bourne when he was going for the airborne, aka the shooting star press, and he caught him in midair with the RKO. That is an all-time clip. That was one of the best RKOs of all time. You got more RKOs like the one he hit on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, caught him mid curb stomp, caught him in midair, hit him with the RKO. And I mean, there's plenty more RKOs, crazy RKOs that Randy Orton has hit, man. And this is why I love the RKO. It's one of the best moves of all time. You can hit it literally out of nowhere and end the match, man. Other variations of this move, you got a Diamond Cutter, made famous by Diamond Dallas Page, aka DDP. You know, the Diamond Cutter was a little bit different from the RKO, and I know the Diamond Cutter came first, but I'm more of a fan of the RKO. But with the Diamond Cutter, you know, DDP didn't really leap or jump as he was performing the move. He kind of just, you know, grabbed him by the head and then fell down with him. It was still, you know what I'm saying, it looked cool, but the RKO is just fucking cooler, you know. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Randy Orton he has to have one of the best finishers ever. The RKO, you know how good the RKO is? It literally became a meme. It became a meme, man. RKO out of nowhere. That's how good this fucking finisher is. So yeah, man, number 2 is none other than the RKO, made famously by the Viper Randy Orton. Now, last but not least, number 1 on my top 10 finishing moves of all time is the pile driver. Now, it really doesn't get better than the pile driver. One of the most devastating moves ever. One of the most devastating moves of all time. You had Kevin Owens bring that back. Bring like the fact that the pile driver was one of the most devastating moves ever. Kevin Owens recently brought the pile driver back in WWE when you know what I'm saying, he hit the finisher on Orton and Cody Rhodes, which was amazing to see. But you know, this move was made famous by a lot of people. So many variations of this move. The Tombstone Pile Driver, made famous by none other than The Undertaker, where, you know what I'm saying, unlike a regular pile driver where he has, you know, back to belly and then you sit out with it, dropping them down right on their heads, it's belly to belly, and then Taker drops down to his knees, dropping their skulls right down on that mat. I was a fan of the Tombstone. The Tombstone was one of the most like protected moves ever, you know. I love the Tombstone. It looks cool as hell. The pin animation that Taker used to do. I love it, man. I love the whole gimmick. Moving on to other variations of the pile driver. You got the sit out pile driver, is basically what you're seeing on the screen here. when CM Punk hit it on John Cena. The fact that CM Punk hit the pile driver when this move was banned in the WWE is crazy as hell. Crazy as fuck. I don't know how many of you knew that, by the way, but this picture you're looking at right now, the pile driver was banned when CM Punk hit that finisher. And I forgot. Like, I don't know if he went off script and hit this shit. I believe they went off script and CM Punk hit the pile driver, which is crazy as fuck. Crazy as hell. But, yo, man, you got the sit-out pile driver, which is like the standard variation of the pile driver. And then you have the package pile driver, made famous by Kevin Steen, a.k.a. Kevin Owens. The package pile driver, in my opinion, is probably the most devastating variation of this move. I mean, he's literally folding the guy in half and dropping him down on his fucking neck. He hit it. I believe he hit that move on Cody Rhodes not even that long ago, like a couple of weeks ago. That's one of the craziest moves of all time. If I were to rank like which specific pile driver is my favorite, I might go Tombstone number one, because the Tombstone is like childhood classic. You know, Undertaker used to hit the fucking Tombstone and end folks like it was nothing back in the day, especially during WrestleMania. And then I would say the package pile driver, because it really looks so fucking devastating, man. So fucking devastating. I believe that he hit that shit. Kevin Owens hit that shit on El Generico, aka Sami Zayn, on one of the RH pay-per-views through a ladder. Like, bro, what? And then I will say the regular sit-out pile driver last. But yeah, man. With all that being said, number one finisher on this list is the pile driver. Now, that's pretty much this entire list for this video. If you agree with this list, let me know in the comments down below. If you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. But, you know, until next time, y'all stay safe, stay cool. And I'm going to see y'all later, man. Peace.